Dark Nova's Revenge, Chapter 7. A Great Fiery Healing. It has been a week since Spike was saved by his friends from Dark Nova's control. He has been staying in the Crystal Empire to get healed by the healing specialist there. He also was glad that Rarity had been staying there too the whole time, even she had a room at the palace. But despite showing some progress, Spike had been having nightmares of Dark Noah where he did win, and that he saw Dark Noah kill his friends before fading away to nothingness. Other than that getting healing for his injuries. He was also given therapy for his experience and for his terrifying nightmares. He hadn't told Rarity the details of those nightmares, only that he had some. She was of course a bit worried for him, but he knew that he was getting all the best help that he could get. Hey darling, how are you feeling today? Hey Rarity, I'm feeling well today. I just finished my healing session today. I'm glad that you've made so much progress, sweetie. Thanks, Rarity. I really appreciate it. You wanna take a walk with me? Sure. I would like to get some fresh air. They both left the facility, and both were enjoying the nice stay. Rarity was happy that Spike had made so much progress recently after being what he went through. They walked around in the town and they arrived at the park, where they chose to sit down to enjoy the day. It's a nice day here. It sure is a nice day, darling. Spike, are you still having those terrible nightmares? Rarity asked. Spike had told Rarity about the nightmares, but hasn't given the exact details about them, not what to don't want to scare her. She felt really bad and really sad that Spike was suffering from those nightmares. She had convinced him to talk to someone about them, which is a good thing since having a therapist and talking about them was helping Spike a lot. They're still there, but I'm handling them now. They don't scare me as much as before anymore. Even though Spike did get scared of some of the nightmares, but not as much as in the beginning. Those nightmares scared him so bad he could barely get any sleep. It was when he told Rarity about those nightmares when he suggested talk to a therapist about them. After he started talking to a therapist about the nightmares, he started to get some sleep and not much scared of the nightmares anymore. At first, they happened regularly, at regular basis, but now the nightmares only happens a few times. I'm glad that nightmares isn't bothering you anymore. I'm also glad for that, said Spike. They remained at the park for a little while before they went to the cafe to get something to eat. Spike was longing to get home soon, too. Spike chose to get a sandwich, Rarity chose a salad to eat. Both were enjoying their time at the cafe. Spike really thought that at that moment, when Dark Nova was looking to win, he would never see Rarity ever again, and that he was absolutely going to die. But he was so glad that it didn't happen, and that when he heard Rarity's voice, which gave him some extra energy to fight, to hold Dark Nova long enough for his friends to save him. Later, they left the cafe and walked around some more before going back to the facility so Spike could get some rest. Despite doing a lot of progress of healing, he was still quite weak. It would still take time for him to make a full recovery. That evening, Spike said thanks to Rarity to spend time with him. He gave her a kiss as a good night. She gave him one too. After he had fallen asleep that night, he had one of his nightmares again. You can't defeat me. With those now dragon body, I will be unstoppable. Leave my spiky winky alone, you monster! Dark Noah just started laughing about the comment from Rarity. Monster, you said. I will show you the true monster I really am. Dark Noah then summoned a stone monster, which rushed up to Rarity and stabbed her in the chest. Spike woke up from the dream and he looked so panicked. He knows it was just a dream. It even felt so real and that it couldn't hurt him. This nightmare was in fact one of the last ones he really got scared. But his therapist had told him in order to have to stop, he had to tell himself before falling asleep that they won't hurt him ever again, and that Dark Noah is gone, and that she won't hurt him again. He told himself firmly that he wasn't going to have this nightmare the Dark Noah affect him any longer. He lay down and tried to get some sleep, and this time he didn't have any nightmares rest of the night. The next day Spike had were during his healing session at the facility with some other ponies, and the specialist told him that he had made so much progress soon he could return home. After he had finished his healing session for the day, he was going to have his therapist meeting before he chose to sit down outside to get some fresh air and talking to Cadence, who came to see him. Hello, Spike. How are you really going so far? Oh, hello, Cadence. It's going well. I made so much progress. I have been informed about that, and hearing it from you means a lot too. Cadence looked at the Spike with for a moment with a curious look, and he saw it. Is there something you want to ask me? I have heard from Rarity about your nightmares. I just wanted to know if they're still frequent as before. No, they don't appear as frequent as before. You can tell me about them if it might help. Even though Spike was already talking to them about his therapist, he thought a second pair of ears wouldn't hurt. Well, it's mostly about Dark Noah. Either match to win, and I fade away, seeing how she killing my friends one by one. Spike told himself to spare the exact details, since he didn't want to give Cadence any nightmares of her own, so he only said the part and she listened closer to him. When he was done, she sat silent for a moment, looked at the sky. Hearing about those nightmares, I can see why you're so scared. I can tell you that when I was younger, I also had terrible nightmares, but not as bad as yours, but still they scared me. Even Twilight had very bad nightmares when she was when I was visiting her. I had no idea that Twilight had so bad nightmares too. Well, every pony had bad nightmares, but each can have so bad too. Sort of my own bad nightmares was when I was turned alicorn, if I fit to be an alicorn, or if I even had what it took to be one. Celestia must have been talking to you a lot about them, right? Yes, she did talk to me about them, and it was before Luna's return, so she couldn't help me with them, but Celestia did help me a lot. But some nightmares even before Flurry Heart was born, if I was fit to be a mom, if I could handle a foal of my own, by remembering how I took care of Twilight as a foal, gave me comfort. Even her brother telling me that we will face it together, and we have. Spike smiled when Cadence told him that. He looked at her with a smile, and she smiled back at him. I think I can handle this much now, thanks to you and my friends. I'm glad that I'd be able to help you as much as I can, Spike. You can always talk to me if you need it. Thanks, Cadence. I appreciate it so much. Excuse me, Spike, but your therapist is waiting for you, said Pony. Oh, I almost forgot about it. Once again, thank you, Cadence. It's my pleasure to help you, Spike. Spike gave her a hug and he left to see his therapist. After a short conversation with Cadence, gave him much more comfort in his heart. Felt that he felt much better now. Spike walked into a room where his therapist waited for him. In the room sat a pink unicorn by the name Rosie Note waiting for her. Sorry if I'm late. I was talking to Princess Cadence. It's okay, Spike. Take a seat. We can start. Spike sat down and they started the session as before. Now tell me, Spike, have you been having any bad dreams since our last session? Actually, yes, I had one last night, and it felt like if part of Dark Nova was still in me. You can be rest assured, Spike, that she's all gone from your body, thanks to your friends. I know, it felt she was still there. You want to talk more about it? Well, I can tell you what happened in the dream. Spike then started to tell her what happened in his last nightmare. She sat and listened carefully while taking some notes. After she finished, sit there while Rosie Note finished off some of her notes. I can tell you're still deeply worried and concerned that Dark Nova is still part of you. You don't have to worry about it, since both Luna and Celesta could confirm she was gone from your body, and there's no traces of her left behind. Still, I can't get off from my mind or my dreams. You might still have her in your dreams for a while, but they will eventually stop seeing them as nightmares, just part of your regular dreams. I wanted to stop entirely though. It might take time, but if you follow my advice to tell yourself before you go to sleep to have a good dreams, it might help. Spike sat there and thought of her advice, and he looked at the therapist. I believe that can actually work. Just hope it doesn't affect me any longer in the future. I believe in you, Spike. You have a strong mind and support from friends and family. Spike knew that Rosie Note had a point, and he continued the session for a while. Afterwards was over, Spike thanked her and he left the facility to get some fresh air. Spike was just walking around by himself. Some ponies greeted him and he greeted them back. You could feel more happy now that Dark Nova was gone, and it won't harm him or any pony else. After being walking around for a little bit, well, he started to get hungry, so he decided to go to the palace to see if Rarity was busy and if she wanted to get something to eat. He arrived at the palace entrance. Welcome, Spike, said the guard. Thank you. Is Miss Rarity in the palace? Yes, Miss Rarity is with Princess Cadence at the moment. You can go inside. Thank you. Spike walked in, and after a moment, he heard Cadence and Rarity in the library talking. They stopped when they saw Spike. Spike, I didn't know you were coming, said Rarity. I finished my sessions for today, and I wanted to see what you were doing and if you wanted to get something to eat. Of course, Spiky Wakey, said Rarity with a smile. I can have the royal chef to prepare something for us to eat, said Cadence. I would appreciate it, Cadence. Cadence left the room to get the chef to prepare some lunch and some food for them. Spike went to sit on the couch and sat down next to Rarity. How you been doing today? She asked. I'm doing actually good. I'm glad to hear that. Just 2 more weeks until you can go home again, said Rarity. Yes, it's gonna be nice to get home soon to see all my friends. Twilight did send me a message earlier asking how your progress is going. I wrote back and said it's going well, that you made so much progress and still need time, but you're getting all the help. Thanks, Rarity. I appreciate you telling Twilight that. They sat and talked for a little while. Soon a guard walked into the library. Lunch is ready. Thank you, sir. We will be there in a moment. Both left the library and went to the dining hall where Cadence, Shining Armor, and Fairy Heart was waiting for them too. Hope you're hungry, Spike, said Shining Armor. I'm starving. I'm so hungry I can eat the whole palace. They all started laughing about it, and they were happy to see that Spike was back to his old self again. They all sat down and just started eating the lunch together. Spike had a good time, and he sat next to Rarity. So, Spike, how's the things at the healing facility? Asked Shining Armor. It's going well. They're really professional and kind there. Polnister really knows what they're doing. They even helped Discord after Tyrek took his powers from him, said Cadence. I heard it from Twilight, and I can see they are good at it. It's like an almost a special spa, said Spike. Yes, I'm glad that they helping you, and what you went through was really unbelievable. We shouldn't talk more about it. Now let us enjoy a lunch instead, Shining Armor. I agree with Shining Armor, said Rarity. They all continued the lunch and talk about something else. Spike felt so relaxed, and after lunch, they all went back to their library to relax a little. Spike played some cards with Shining Armor, while Rarity were talking to Cadus. After a while, it was time for Spike to go back to the healing facility again. He said goodnight to Rarity and told her that he will see her next day. Back at the facility, Spike was relaxing in his room and read the Daring Do book that Twilight had sent to him. He read one chapter until it was time when he started to feel tired. I wish for good dreams tonight, said Spike. Spike said that to himself after what Rosie Note had suggested that to him to try, and that night it worked. He had a good dream where he and Rarity was getting married. The next day, when Spike woke up, he saw it was raining outside a lot. And he was a little down because of that. He had thought of having a picnic with Rarity after his sessions. After he had his breakfast, and just after his healing session was over, he was told that he had a visitor. When he saw it was Twilight, he was happy. He walked up to her and gave her a big hug. Twilight, what are you doing here? I came to see how you're doing with your healing sessions. The facility has been keeping me updated about it, and I wanted to see you too. It was nice that you wanted to come to see me here, said Spike. I would always make time to see you, Spike, at any time. Spike smiled and they went to an area where they could talk some more. He told her about his healing experience and that he was looking forward to go home soon. Twilight asked him about his nightmares, if he still had them frequent as before. But he told her that they weren't as they did before, and she was glad to hear that. I can't wait to go home to spend time more with the rest of our friends. You should be prepared for the Pinky throwing a biggest welcome home party for you. That sounds something that Pinky would do for sure. Yep, it's something that she always done for her friends, she said said Twilight. Apollonia walked up to them and said it was time for Spike's therapy session, and Twilight went with Spike to the room, and Twilight talked to Rosie Note for a brief moment. Twilight told Spike that she would be at the palace if he wanted to talk more to her later. Spike said that he would talk to her later, and he walked into his therapy session for about 2 hours. After it was over, he thanked Rosie Note and left the healing facility when it was still raining, but he borrowed an umbrella when he walked over to the palace. The guard let him inside, and he found Twilight with Rarity at the library talking while having some tea. They saw Spike walking in. "Hey, darling, glad you can come. I wouldn't have missed a second to be with you, Rarity. You're so sweet, darling." Spike sat down next to Rarity, and he had some of the cookies that Cadance had made for them to eat. "It's bad as raining today," said Spike. "Why is that, Spike?" asked Rarity. "I had thought to take you out for a picnic today, but can always do it later on a time. That would have been sweet if we could do that, but before you're going home. I think we can do it." Spike was so happy to be able to spend time with Rarity despite it was raining outside. Rarity thought it was an idea that she and Spike could do it, but there was reading during do together in her room, and had something to eat meantime. Spike thought for a moment and told Rarity it was a good idea. Since they couldn't go outside, Rarity grabbed her during the book and asked a servant to bring some food to her room. The servant promised to have it taken to her room shortly. Both Spike and Rarity walked to her room, and both sat down on the bed, and she started reading the book for him, which she had borrowed from Cadance. "This is like a picnic when the food will get here," said Spike. "Yes, it's like an indoor picnic, so you see, we could still have a picnic even if we couldn't go outside. You're right about that." Soon it was a knock on the door, and a servant came in with a cart, but he had some food on it for them. The servant put the food on a table next to them. "Thank you. You're welcome." Right after the servant had left Rarity and Spike, they took a short break from the reading to get something to eat. "This sandwich is really good." "It is, and I saw they brought some gemstones for you too, Spike." "I didn't see them, and I will save them for last. It's best, and this picnic is a good idea too. I agree on you on that, sweetheart." They enjoyed their food together, and afterwards they went back to do some more reading, and Rarity was reading for Spike while he was eating some of the gemstones. It was until later in the evening when Twilight came to the room. "Rarity, can I come in?" "Of course, darling, the door's unlocked." Twilight walked in, and both Rarity and Spike were still reading the book together. "What can we do for you?" "It's dinner time, and Cadance asked me to get you to." "I forgot the time. I'm really getting hungry," said Spike. "I really lost track of time when reading with Spike. It made me really forget the time. Forget me, Twilight." "It's okay, though. It happens to all of us sometimes. Let's go. Dinner's ready." They all left the room and went down to the dining hall. "How do you feel today, Spike?" asked Shining Armor. "I'm feeling much better today after spending an afternoon with Rarity. Is always the best thing." "It's always a nice time to spend with you too, Spike," said Rarity. They were having pasta for dinner, and they all had a good time. Shining Armor told Spike that it had stopped raining, so he wouldn't need the umbrella when he gets back to the healing facility later. Spike thanked him for letting him know. Later, after dinner, it was time for Spike to go back to the healing facility so that he could get some rest. "I will see you tomorrow again, Rarity." I'll see you tomorrow, sweetie. Good night, Rarity. Good night, Spike. They gave each other a good night kiss, and Spike went back to the healing facility. When he was laying in bed, he was reading some Daring Do before he went go back to sleep. It was helping him to get some sleep. When he chose to get some sleep, he told himself the same phrase to have some good dreams, which worked this time too. For the next few days, Spike was spending a lot of time with Rarity after his healing sessions. He was really enjoyed to spend time with her. It was even getting closer to time when he can go home again. And one day when Spike was sitting by himself in the park while Rarity was at the palace resting after being looking after Fairyheart. While sitting in the park, he heard a voice behind him. He turned around and saw it was Cadence. Hello, Spike. How are you today? Hello, Cadence. Doing well today. You're sitting here to enjoy the nice day. It's sure a nice day, and better Rarity couldn't be here for you today. That's okay. I understand if she's busy with helping or looking after Rare Fairyheart all the time. After all, Flurry loves Rarity. Cadence smiled hearing that from Spike, and you knew that Flurry really liked Rarity so much. You know, one day you and Rarity will have your own family. I actually have thought to propose to Rarity even before all this happened with Dark Nova, Spike said. I had no idea you have thoughts of it, said Cadence. I have thought about it, but I have chosen to wait to ask her until I am really ready. It's a good thing to wait and not rushing into it before you're really ready for it. I had asked to ask, was Shining Armor any nervous when he proposed to you? Cadence sat silent for next to Spike and looked at the sky and started laughing. Spike, you have no idea. He was actually nervous. Even who could tell me that that he proposed to me, but I thought it was a sweet moment, and I will always remember that, treasure it as much as well. You think Rarity will do the same? That she will do without a doubt. She won't hesitate to say yes when you ask her. I really hope so too, though my advice to you, Spike, is to wait until you're ready to ask her if you have been with her this long. I think she can wait a little longer too. Spike realized that Cadence had a point, though that he wanted to wait at least a little longer before asking Rarity the big question. He haven't got an engagement ring yet, but he thought about get one as just before going to ask Rarity. Both Cadence and Spike sat at the park for a little while before she had to go back to the palace. After the guard came to get her, Spike went back to the healing facility to relax there and do some Daring Do reading. After he got back, he lay down and took the book and just read for half an hour before it was time for him to get some sleep. 2 weeks later, Spike had finished his healing treatment at the healing facility and he could go home. Spike and Rarity were at the healing facility to talk to the staff and thank them for their help. I can't thank all of you enough for helping my Spike. It was our pleasure to be able to help, said Rosie Note. I really appreciate it all though. If it wasn't for all of you, I might still have been suffering. It's just our duty to help others in need. If you need to come back, you're always welcome back here at any time, said Rosie Note. I will remember that. And then, once again, thank you all of you. After they left the facility, they went to the train station where Cadence stood along with Shining Armor. You're just in time. The train will arrive shortly, said Shining Armor. That's good to know, and thanks for all the support for the past 3 weeks. You're a part of our family, Spike. Of course, will help you, our family members. Your kindness is something both of us really treasure the most, though, said Rarity. Soon, the train arrived to the station. Spike and Rarity gave Shining Armor and Cadence a big hug and thanked them once again for their support. On the train home, Spike was leaning against Rarity, who smiled. She was just happy that Spike was going home with her. When they arrived at Ponyville, Spike felt so happy, so excited to be home again. When they arrived at the castle, as soon as they stepped in, they had a confetti exploded around them. It was Pinky's idea since they were expecting it though. Welcome home, Spike. Thank you, Pinky. It feels nice to be home again. We really missed you so much, Shikigib. That we absolutely did for sure, said Rainbow. I'm just glad that Spike is home, healed from that event. I'm really happy to be home, to be here. I don't know what to say. It's just really something. I can't be happier to be home and say that. I'm so happy to have all of you in my family. But now let's party. I agree with Spike, and let's enjoy this party, said Rarity. They all went into the library, where Sunburst and Starlight already waiting with them for the food cake. Spike really had a good time at the party. He was just so glad that Dark Nova was just now a memory, and he didn't have to worry about her ever again from harming him or his friends ever again. Later that evening, after the party was over, Spike stood by his balcony, looked out over the town in the full moon's light. Rarity had gone home along the rest of his friends. When he stood there, he heard some pony behind him. He turned around and saw it was Twilight. Hey, Twilight, I thought you were asleep already since it's past midnight. No, I was still awake. I was reading Daring Do. Couldn't sleep after that long party. I know exactly what you mean. I take it you couldn't sleep either? No, I wasn't even tired. Just being so happy to be home again. Twilight walked up to Spike and stood next to him. It's a very beautiful night we have tonight. It's really a beautiful night. Spike, I'm glad that you're home with us again. You're not the only one who is glad to be home again. I could tell how happy Rarity was too when you came home again. I'm just glad that Dark Nova is gone and that it won't be harming any pony ever again. Both Celestia and Luna assured me that she won't be found ever again by any pony. I'm really hoping for that cause what I went through, I really don't want any other pony else to go through this exact experiences that I do. If it happened again, maybe that time the pony wouldn't be able to have the same chance as me. Don't think more about it. She's gone. She won't harm you or anyone else, any pony else ever again. Thanks, Twilight. I really appreciate hearing that from you. Twilight stood next to Spike for a little longer until she chose to go back to bed herself. She told Spike to the same thing. Spike told her that he will go to bed in a moment. After she had left the room, Spike looked up to the sky at the full moon and smiled to himself. I'm glad all of this is over, and now I can focus on my life with Rarity. After that, he went to bed and lay down, and he looked at the ceiling and he smiled to himself, knowing one day soon he will be married to his true love. It didn't take long for Spike to fall asleep, and he had good dreams about him and Rarity being married and having a family together.